Hey everyone, welcome back to Building a Watch Company. I am RT Custer here in the Vortic Watch Company studio in Fort Collins, Colorado. It's been a minute, and I apologize for the delay, especially to our Kickstarter backers, but we're back, and we're here making monthly content. I promised you and myself that I wouldn't put out another one of these videos until we had something to show, especially, again, for our Kickstarter backers, all the people that backed Colorado Watch Company on Kickstarter a while back. We wanted to make sure we actually had something to share with you here on video. And so thank you for your patience. I did recently, if you backed us on Kickstarter, send an email to everybody. So hopefully you already have some of this information. But like I said, we're back. We're going to keep doing these monthly updates on Kickstarter. And then this show is called Building a Watch Company. I'm going to keep doing it every month on YouTube, at least once a month, showcasing all the things that we're doing for Colorado Watch Company and Vortic Watch Company. So let's dive in and let's talk about Colorado watches that are right in front of me here. We have two final watches, and that's super, super exciting. This is the first SKU or variant of our Field Watch that we just shipped to our Kickstarter backers. It came out wonderfully. This one is the only one that has a sandblasted dial. I'm going to get into that and the difference between that and what we are going to do now. But we did lume, like we talked about in previous videos. This one here is the GCT. This is our most popular SKU from Kickstarter. It's the matte black dial with the black case. We made one final sample, I've been calling it, of this, just so I can show people what we do. And these are the two that we have left that we didn't ship to customers. And these are the only two we have to show right now. But the exciting thing is that we're in full production, especially on the Field Watch, and we're already making cases for the GCT watches. Now, real quick, just for our Kickstarter backers, like I said, I sent this via email so everyone's on the same page, but I want to make sure that you have it in multiple forms here. The plan is to produce these watches in batches. So like I said, we made this SKU here for the Field Watch, which was the metal dial with the text logo and the steel case. The next few SKUs or variants of the Field Watch will be the steel case ones, as we're still working through the issues with the DLC black or PVD coating suppliers that I talked about in the last episode. But the next few SKUs that have steel cases will be shipping here very soon. We're working on assembling those right now, finalizing the dials. That's my next thing I'm going to show you, is some of the next dials and some of the really exciting things we're working on from a dial standpoint. And then once we get through all the Field Watches and all the different SKUs or variants of the Field Watch, then we'll dive into the GCT. The reason the GCT is now coming totally after everything is because we had those issues with our DLC black supplier. All of the dials of the GCT are black. And so not having a supplier for that has caused a delay in that watch in general. Bottom line, we plan currently to ship all of the Field Watches by the end of September. No matter what SKU you have, some of you already received this. A select handful of you already have this watch, and we're getting reviews already, and they're fantastic. So thank you for that. Again, thank you for your patience if you're waiting for one of these watches. But we're starting to ship those Field Watches. We shipped one batch already. We're sending a bunch of them, several batches, down to Fountain Hills, Arizona to Fine Timepiece Solutions to do the final assembly and building those watches and assemble the movements like they do. And then we'll start shipping the rest of those Field Watches, like I said, over the next 2 months. Should ship the last Field Watch by the end of September, at least from Kickstarter. And that's our goal. On the GCT, same concept there. As soon as we ship all the Field Watches, we'll ship all the GCTs in batches based on SKU. We only have 4 SKUs or 4 variants of the GCT, so that's a little easier. And we hope that those should all be shipped by the end of November. That is our current plan. At this point, we're doing our best to underpromise and overdeliver. Hopefully you get yours sooner than that. And again, depending on which variant you ordered, you will get yours sooner than that. So that is the plan for all of our Kickstarter backers. We're getting a lot of questions about how can I order one? If I miss the Kickstarter, it's been a while now. How do I get my hands on one of these? That's something that we originally said we were just not going to take orders or take pre-orders for these for a long time, or at least basically until we shipped all of them. Since it's taken so long, we have been considering, and I'll finalize this by the time we film the next video about a month from now. We've been considering starting to take pre-orders maybe in September or so, which would be the next time you see a video. So I'll circle back with you on that. But if you're looking at this video, if you're looking at these watches and you really want one and you missed out on the Kickstarter, put a comment below or send us an email and we'll make sure you're on the right email list, and we'll make sure you're in the right place so that you get alerted as soon as we have these available for either pre-order or complete order at that point. That's our overarching straightforward Kickstarter update, which is everything's going smooth. We're just behind the 8 ball as far as schedule. Now I want to show you exactly what we're up to because it's really exciting. So switch in my props here. We just got, I think the big news is we just got a couple of new machines. One of them is called a mill turn, a Tsugami mill turn. It's a $500,000 piece of equipment that weighs tens of thousands of pounds. We had to excavate part of our facility. The concrete underneath our machine room was only 4 inches thick, and we needed 12 inches of concrete under this thing. So it was really exciting bringing it in. It barely fit through the door. I mean, we're talking half an inch on either side to get through the garage door that we have here in the building. And that mill turn is to make cases for Colorado Watch Company. And making these cases, especially the GCT case, is really difficult. Right now, it takes hours to make one case, and there's a lot of touches. There's a lot of human interaction with the machines to get from, a full just piece of billet or basically a hockey puck, like I showed you in previous videos, down to this case. And this mill turn will be able to start with a bar of material and turn down into the case, and it should take a fraction of the time, and we'll be able to scale up and move faster. That's really exciting. We're really excited about that machine. Hopefully we'll have some more video to show you of that machine working by next month, or at least in the next couple videos. After we mill the case out of a block of steel, we have to finish it. And most watch companies, especially the Swiss watch companies, they polish everything to do a high polish. We like to leave some of the machine marks, leave some of our signature on it. And the other piece of equipment and the other machine that we got is called a Burr King tumbler. And it's a barrel tumbler that we put ceramic media in. And the dials and the cases will now all be tumbled. And when I say case, I mean the case body, the bezel, the case back, the crown. We're going to barrel tumble everything. And I'm holding something. This is one of the first things that we've tumbled. We tumbled the dial, which obviously this is a prototype. You can see that some of the lettering is coming off. We just tumbled it just to see what would happen. And you can see the difference between this tumbled dial and this sandblasted dial. So the first batch of watches that we sent had a sandblasted dial, and it's subtle. But the difference between what's in my left hand, meaning sandblasted, and then what's in my right hand, meaning the dial is tumbled, is really, really interesting. When you tumble the dial, it makes it look like what knife makers call a stone wash. And it means that every dial is going to be slightly different. There's a slight pattern that you get as the dials go through the stones and the water, and the dials get a semi-polish, but it's not a complete, even, shiny polish. Again, it's our mark that we leave on these dials. And the cases. The case has been tumbled. This one is fully tumbled, including the crown. And so you can still see the machine marks, but it gives it a really, really cool, slightly different color finish. It's not quite as shiny. It removes any sharp edges that we have, and it just creates a more refined product that we're really, really excited about. So starting today, everything the Colorado Watch Company makes is going to be barrel tumbled, including the dial and the cases. These dials that I have here are all tumbled. We have the aluminum. These are actually aluminum. So we have the aluminum dials here. We have the text logo. And then we have the red box logo. This one is before we put the red on. We'll show you that process of putting the red on these dials. It's pretty cool. These have been loomed already. And so you can see we're hand filling those 4 quadrants with the loom. But these are barrel tumbled. And like I said, they look, some people would call stone washed. And that's our new field watch. We could call it just the metal dial. It's been barrel tumbled. And then after that, some of you ordered a white dial for your Colorado field watch. These have also been loomed. And it's a little hard to tell in this light, but I'll show you as best I can. Again, these are metal, aluminum, that have been barrel tumbled. And then these are coated with white. If you recall, probably 5 or 6 episodes ago now, we were trying to figure out electrophoretic coating. And we did figure it out, but it's very difficult. It's almost impossible to turn something white. And if you look really closely, these are not what I would consider white. They are more cream. They're beautiful. honestly, I think it's better. This is final product. So this is what everyone's getting. But they came out really awesome. The quote unquote white dial that we sold on Kickstarter is this beautiful cream color. And basically it's this dial here that we've now electrophoretic or E-coated to turn it this cream color. The problem with that process is that so far we've had about a 30% scrap rate. And that is very stressful when we spend a lot of time and money machining these dials and we get this far and then we try to coat it and then 3 out of 10 we can't use ever again. That's not good. That's not a repeatable process. So the people that are getting these white or rather cream dials on Kickstarter may be the only ones to get this watch ever. So I hope that's an exciting thing for you. We are trying. It's kind of like the DLC black coating that we've talked about, and especially trying to make the machined black dial for the GCT, which is still in process. It's still a thing. I know a lot of you guys want it, and I want it too. It's kind of a similar conversation, and we know we can do it, but we need to figure out how to make it more repeatable before we do more. And that's especially for these cream dials now for the Field watch. So that is the process of making the dials. That's where it is right now. And again, once we've put the red boxes on these dials here for the Field watch, then we'll put them all together, send them down to Arizona to be for the final assembly. And I think the only thing we're waiting on right now for the Field watch is the black cases. And that's back to our next issue that we talked about, which is the DLC supplier, the PVD coating. The good news is that we've identified 2 suppliers and they both have parts, and we should get prototypes and final samples from both of those suppliers in the next couple weeks. And obviously, best one wins. As long as one of them meets our quality standards, then we'll be good to go. We can send all the rest of the parts off to be coated and have that diamond-like carbon black coating put on. And the bad news is that it's just taken a lot of time to interview and find new suppliers, especially, like I said in the last video, the new one that we found that we're really excited about was just happened to be moving at the same time that we were finding them. So pursuing this American dream of trying to make watches in the United States has been a lot harder than we thought. But it's made a lot easier by the emails that we continuously get from all of you, especially who backed us on Kickstarter. It's difficult for me to send an email that says it's going to be a few more months. I'm so sorry. But it makes it a lot better when you respond and say, take your time. The product is awesome. This is really cool. So thank you again for supporting us, for your patience, especially if you backed us on Kickstarter. We couldn't do this without you. And these will be, and I just typed it on the top of our website for Colorado Watch Company, the most American watches at scale. Nearly 90% of this watch is American made, and nearly half of the watch is made here in Colorado. And we are really, really excited about that. And now it's just time to scale. That's the update for Colorado Watch Company. So much going on. There's so many really exciting things. Again, we hope to allow you, if you missed out on the Kickstarter, we hope to allow you to pre-order one of these watches here pretty soon. In the next few months, we're working on that process. We got some really cool stuff coming. When you get one, you get this awesome box that we started shipping these boxes. They're just so cool. The inside of the box is my favorite. I think it just came out so wonderfully. And again, you get the watch just like that. And then your extra straps come up here, and every watch comes with 2 straps that are interchangeable. Really, really easy, really fun. And this box, if I didn't mention it, or if you missed that last episode, is 100% made in California. Not even just made in America, but like all of this is made in the state of California. And that's really exciting. So that's Colorado Watch Company. And now we have some exciting, really exciting stuff to talk about for Vortic Watch Company. And if you tuned in to get a Kickstarter update or something about Colorado Watch Company and you're not familiar with Vortic, this is really the start of everything. We take old pocket watches and turn them into wristwatches. The most exciting part of that to me is our military edition. And that's what these 3 watches represent. So we've done 3 special editions or special limited series watches for our military edition this year. We're really focused on the military edition here in 2024 because later this year, I think it's December 15, we're auctioning off the watch that John Krasinski wore on the show Jack Ryan, which looks like the watch that I'm wearing here. We're auctioning that watch off for charity with Christie's in New York City. Huge deal, super cool. We actually had 2 watches for that. So you're going to see 2 different things. We're going to auction off one of those for charity, along with the watch that Michael Kelly, his co-star on the show, wore. And then separately, we had another watch that John Krasinski wore as a prop watch on the show. And that one's going to be basically raffled off. And we're doing a sweepstakes for that one that anyone can enter. So if you're interested in that and you need a link, just comment on this video and we'll send you all the information about that. That's why we're just really hyping up the military edition this year. We got a lot of cool stuff to show you. And we've been saving these pocket watches for a long time for just such an occasion. This is our post-war watch that we came out with back in May. I believe we have 5, maybe 6 of these left. Long story short, this is similar to the watch that I'm wearing, our Black Dial Classic Military Edition. But after the war, someone converted these dials into what you see here, a 12-hour dial that says Hamilton on it. We're not sure the exact process for this. We're not sure if Hamilton did it, if a jeweler did it, but sometime in probably the late 40s, early 50s, the dial was updated to a 12-hour dial. We have a whole separate video on this watch, just like we do on all 3 of these, so go check that out if you want here on YouTube. But this is our post-war watch, and really the biggest thing that I want to highlight about this is the bronze case. You can see this one is starting to patina, and it's just gorgeous. This is the only full bronze special edition military watch that we've made this year. So if you want a bronze watch like this, that is called the post-war watch. And that was really fun to curate. This one internally, we call the Navy watch. This is the only one, only military pocket watch that we found that has a direct tie to the United States Navy. This we call publicly the comparing watch. Not very many of these were made. If you compare them to the military edition, so the 4992B movement in the post-war watch or the military edition that I'm wearing, those black dial pocket watches, Hamilton made 120,000 of them during World War II. They made 10,000 of these for the United States Navy, and the only way you could get them was if you bought the ship's chronometer for your Navy ship. And so these weren't for sale. You can't find them. Very hard to find. We made 10 of them. I believe we have 4 or 5 left for sale right now. And again, this is called the comparing watch. Beautiful, classic white enamel dial. And it has a hacking feature on the sub-seconds, which you don't see very often. So we call it the comparing watch because it was literally used to compare against the ship's chronometer below deck. The officer of the watch would use the pocket watch to make sure that all the other timekeeping components on board the ship were on time as compared to the ship's chronometer. So that was the comparing watch. Now, finally, I wanted to highlight, I think we might only have 2 of these left. This is probably the most special. This is the Royal Pheon. It's a slightly different price point that you'll see on the website, but to say it's worth it is an understatement. These went really fast and are going fast. This is the rarest watch we've ever made. They made just about 2,000 of them for the Royal Air Force and Royal Navy. That broad arrow or Pheon symbol on the dial was the King's mark made for the King back then. Still says Hamilton, but Hamilton is that really awesome curved logo that we never see. I've never seen on anything else. And these are nearly perfect. They have the broad arrow on the dial, on the movement down in here, and on the original cases that we have for all 10 of these. So make sure if you watch any of the content we made about these watches, make sure you watch the Royal Pheon video. I don't know, William, I think it's probably the best work that we've done. I think it turned out really cool. The intro is sweet. So you got to check that out. And the history is really why to learn more about these videos. It's just fantastic. So that is what we call the Royal Pheon. Like I said, we only made 10 of these. And Kent, our watchmaker, hand polished the sides of the cases, the bezel, and then did a brushed finish on the lugs. And we'll get some really good shots of this so you can see it, but you just have to see the hand finishing that we did on these cases. It's simply spectacular. That's the Royal Pheon. Those are the special editions of Vortic's Military Edition this year in 2024. We did 3 this year, more than we've ever done. And again, it's because of all the marketing we're doing for John Krasinski's watch later this year, but also because we found these really spectacular watches from military estates. We just had to share them with you. We do have 50 military editions coming this year on November 11th for Veterans Day. Just like always, our military edition comes out 12 noon Mountain Time on Veterans Day. That's 11/11. Make sure you check that out. You can hop on the email list and learn more about all of these watches, all the military-related watches at vorticwatches.com/military. And thank you for tuning in to what I call building a watch company. It's more than one company now. It's, I guess, technically one building, one team here in Fort Collins, Colorado. but it's Vortic Watch Company and Colorado Watch Company. And that's what we've been up to for the last month or so. Thanks again for tuning in. If you want to learn more, follow along at vorticwatches.com/newsletter. We'll send you an email every time we have a new episode like this. And of course, subscribe here on YouTube so we can keep sharing this video content with you. We'll see you next time.